Let's go with Max. Max, pronouns are he, him from Oregon. He wants to talk about the stigma around being attracted to trans people. Tell us a little bit more about what you mean.
Yeah, hi. So my name's Max. I'm from Portland, like you said. I describe myself. First of all, I love the show. I have to say, this is like way better than like Love Line used to be on the radio. Like, love you guys, love everybody here. But yeah, so my experience, for what it's worth, is probably identify as pansexual, but I'm also very trans attracted. I find myself very, very attracted to trans women, for a lot of reasons. And I don't know. I feel like it can be kind of like, oh, you're just like a chaser, or oh, you're, like fetishizing trans women. And I don't know. Should I be like, how should I feel about this? Because I know like what I'm attracted to, and that I'm not really like internally or externally like ashamed of or whatever. But I feel like in terms of like putting myself out there, a lot of times people will be like, oh, well, if you're pansexual, like a lot of trans women only want to date like straight guys, for instance. You know what I mean? Well, maybe you don't know what I mean. Maybe I'm just crazy.
No, I know what you mean. I see it. I think I saw a post on Twitter today that said like bisexual means something and pansexual means you're a chaser or something like that. So that sentiment is definitely very alive in the trans community. I think generally speaking, for me, I try to approach things with like I'm not really here to be in the business of telling people what is good or not good to have in your sexuality. Like you can't control your sexuality. It just is what it is. I would rather people feel like, so long as they're respecting everyone involved, enthusiastic consent, that they feel excited and good about what they're engaging in sexually, or romantically or whatever. I will say, from my perspective, it is a big problem though of men who would approach like me, for example, who are trans attracted and might say like, "Oh, I'm so into trans women. I really like to do sexual activity X, Y, and Z," which implicitly comes with the assumption that trans women are going to want to participate in sexual activity X, Y, and Z with you, which might not be the case. And I'm not saying that you do this, Max, but I definitely see this uh, all the time. I think probably the majority of the men who come to me. I mean, and granted, I have an OnlyFans. I'm a sex worker, so I a lot of people engage with me for the purpose of exploring their fantasies, and that's totally cool. But when it comes to like actual romantic and like sexual personal engagements, it's a little different. I might not want to do the things that they see me engaging in on like those platforms in real life, and it definitely can make you feel like you're not really a person who someone is interested in, but you are an object. You're this plug and play piece that's going to fulfill the fantasy that they have. Um, so I definitely think it's worth engaging in some mindfulness that while definitely people are probably not always giving like pansexual men who are trans attracted like a fair shot at honestly engaging with that sexuality. I think it's worth trying to like be mindful of like if they're being difficult about it or just assuming you're a chaser, that probably is because the vast majority of men who are approaching them are approaching them that way. You know what I mean?
I do. I mean, yeah, I think I know what you mean because like I get that a lot, and I don't know, like okay, like sexually, I'll be super just blunt. Like yeah, I'm into it. Like I would identify myself as a top, you know, but yeah, I'm very into just trans women. But I think like emotionally, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, I'm into trans people because it's like they saw something that they like, and I don't know if I don't know if this is politically correct or not, but it's like they see something in themselves that they want to change and they change it. And that to me is just like so huge and like so courageous that I don't know. It also kind of has like this added layer of like, wow, you're a badass too. In addition to like just being like sexy, like I find a lot of trans women to be. Um, but yeah, yeah. What's like a good way to like meet trans women? Because like I'm on Grinder and Tinder and stuff, and I'm in like Portland, which is a very like trans friendly area. But like, is there an app for that? As awkward a question as that is.
Hot take. It's gonna be Twitter, if I'm being completely honest. And that's not because Twitter is a dating app. That's because that's just where all the trans women are. We're all on Twitter. Everyone all the Twitter community jokes constantly that Twitter is the trans dating app. But I will say also, I feel like I have apprehension, like hearing the like, oh, like I don't want to like project something on you that you're not bringing here. I think you've been very respectful and you've been like very willing to engage in the conversation and all that. But definitely like the explicit looking for trans women can sometimes be part of what makes us feel objectified too, you know, especially because a lot of us, like, especially for a binary trans women, like, I want someone who's attracted to me because I'm a woman, not because I'm a trans woman. And while that may not be the case for everyone, there may be some trans women who are like, I am trans, I love my trans body, I want someone who's attracted to my transness. That's not going to be all of us, you know. It's an awkward and difficult thing to navigate, and you're going to be like wading through the waters of a lot of people's baggage and like trauma and like surrounding like their experiences with partners and um the affirmation of their gender. And so like I definitely want to empower you to be like, yes, you're attracted to trans women, you should absolutely pursue that. I think you definitely have to be like super mindful and careful when you're like looking for trans women about how that can come off to trans women. It can almost be like a little bit invalidating of their gender sometimes. And again, that's not for everyone. I'm not speaking for every trans person, but I definitely know that I get that impression sometimes when people are like looking for trans women. I'm like, okay, so you're looking for this idea that you have in your head of what being with a trans woman means, and you don't know if that's what that means with me. You know, I'm just a normal person. It's no different than being with any other woman, with potentially a few exceptions. Potentially, um, yeah. But I mean, I wish I had more solid advice for you. This is a difficult and like messy area of sex and dating and relationships that I don't think anyone really has clearly ironed out. But also, I've been talking this whole call, so if
No,
anyone
no, no,
wants to
no.
hop in,
I'm
please feel
fine with
free.
that because I have nothing meaningful to add that can override anything that you would have to say anyway. This is a Puck sits back and learns call, and I'm totally fine with that.
I'll piggyback off a little bit of it. I mean, I guess I would say too, if you're worried about, you know, not coming across the right way or possibly fetishizing or objectifying trans women, I would take the reason why you're attracted to them, which it sounds like, you know, there is this one thing and they wanted to change it and they did. I would take that reason and I would see, does that apply to other gender presentations? Does it apply to other kind of identity variables? And if it doesn't, maybe that's saying something. Not something shitty, not something great, but just being curious about that in a non-judgmental kind of way.
No, that's a good point. I think for me it does. Like I see anybody like I'm pansexual. Like I used to be kind of skinny, and then like going to the gym, like you know, and eating, you get bigger, and that's like something I was very like dysphoric about, like about my own body. But then for me, it was like a big deal to like put in the effort to change that. And trans people, it's like I don't know, it's like that, but it's like that like every day. I feel like I don't know. I just feel like this like I guess not solidarity, but just like almost like an appreciation and a respect. That's the word I'm looking for, like a mad respect for like anybody who does that for themselves. Because I feel like I need that in my own life. And I feel like the trans people I've met and have had the pleasure of dating, they like did that every day. And yeah. Thank you so much for addressing this. I was hoping that this could be addressed, and I know that it's an awkward topic because I've also dealt with it a lot, and I'm just like, I don't know, trying to like date people, not specifically trans women, but just people. I'm just like, yeah, I'm pansexual, but like, here's what that means. And I don't know, like people just have their own turnoffs, which I just have to respect. But yeah, I know what I like. I like what I like. That's why I like your show too. It's a safe space to talk about that.
Thanks so much for calling, Max. I think, you know, if you keep at it, I think you're going to probably find ways of navigating these conversations and just trying to be honest about what you want out of it and what you're looking for. And I'm sure that with the right partner, you'll find a way to like navigate those conversations effectively. So thanks for calling in.